A little sauce dance on it a little bit. You know.
I hear that. Oh shit, you motherfucker, you brother fam. You the West Coast fam.
Is that what it is?
It is. That's literally what it is. Yeah.
The call on Friday morning is, hey Cal, you think you can put the sauce on it?
That's accurate.
100% facts.
That is accurate.
That's a fact, my nigga.
That's funny.
Alright, shit. Let's get this shit going then.
Hey, please don't jinx yourself this time. Don't even ask niggas. Just go ahead. Niggas is like, yo, is we good?
Yeah, just start. Look at it.
Nah. We already rocking now. You feel me?
Right.
We already
started
rocking
now.
now.
Like fuck
You feel me?
it.
That motherfucker on, boy. Y'all talking about? So once again, you feel me? Welcome back to the Yeah I Mean. Y'all talking about? We came back with another episode of that Fever. Y'all talking about? And this week, we got some guests.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. When that shit get rocking, niggas know what time it is. You feel me?
Guys.
PE3 connecting with the Black Rasslin pod. Right?
It's
Black Rasslin.
It's about to be a problem. It's
I'm
about to
be
be
honest
a
with y'all.
problem.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
We got
Y'all
Matt.
gonna
We
get
got
canceled. Y'all gonna get canceled today.
Last episode. Just know.
I've said terrible shit about terrible people, and we ain't got canceled yet. Except by
No, I say terrible stuff about
I
good
say terrible shit about good people.
Yeah,
Shout out to my cousin.
Hey.
My cousin know. He know my heart. Fuck that nigga.
Hey, but fuck that nigga.
All right, man. PE3 connecting with the Black Rasslin podcast. We got Math, we got Cal, we got Young Ill Fam in the motherfucking building. What's up with the guys, man? How y'all niggas doing?
Things are well.
We trying to stay Rona free out here.
Nah, not me,
man.
nigga. I'm eating all Chinese food, nigga. Fuck you.
Hey.
Them niggas is frying dogs and all types of
Wait
shit.
a minute.
Hey, yo.
Niggas
seen that the video where they was frying a live dog and the dog was in there?
No.
In the motherfucking pan and shit?
Yeah.
Like,
nah,
boy.
that's my
Panda
whole
Express?
I'm like,
man, go down
Panda
there,
Express?
drink.
that's for sure that Panda Express.
Hey,
Hey, I connected with some niggas from Brooklyn a while back, and they were saying that there wasn't no Panda Express out there at the time.
yo,
You feel me? Them niggas
like,
was tripping over. Niggas was
York,
tripping
like,
over the
not
walnut
having
shrimp.
Weirdest restaurants. They be having like niggas be like, we don't got. I was like, hold on, niggas ain't got Chick-fil-A.
They didn't.
Right.
Yeah, for a while they
Niggas
didn't.
is like my man's just like, yo, nigga, we ready to get a Chick-fil-A, nigga. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, niggas is hype off the Chick-fil-A.
That's good.
See what these niggas is talking about.
It's good.
Niggas was hype off of that.
Yeah. Nah,
Man,
for real.
I just want to say I appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. This is our 100th episode. I for sure didn't even relay that to y'all. I don't know about
Shit,
this. Our 100th
100.
episode. You
I
feel me?
put a fresh Hanes on, nigga. I wanna put a fresh Hanes on.
It's one undone, you feel me? And it's perfect timing, you feel me, that we get to talk about this dark side of the ring shit. You feel me? Because it's a lot of the shit has been lackluster, you feel me? The shows have been kind of boozy, you feel me, to tell the truth, you feel me, without the crowd and all this shit. So we was originally planning on doing the dark side of the ring as like a separate pod, you feel me, as like a separate segment. But I'm like, nigga, we might as well just fit that into the regular shit just so we can have shit to talk about, you feel me? So again, I appreciate y'all for coming aboard. So the first episode of the dark side of the ring, these niggas jumped out the window with the Chris Benoit story, a two-parter.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. Yeah, I think they should have softened it with. I think they should have started with New Jack. You know what I'm saying? They'd have started with New Jack.
Holy shit!
You know what I'm saying? You
gonna
soften the blow.
With New Jack?
Hey,
man, you can't start with nigga shit.
I mean,
no.
Nobody died. Man.
No, yes they do.
I mean, nobody died. For real.
No, a nigga dies
Not
in
till
this
later.
one.
Yeah.
But this is like,
he got a couple bodies on him.
This nigga got bodies. Like girl, she was a bounty hunter.
Hey man,
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, fam. You don't never start with some nigga shit.
That's fact. You can't do
They like, nigga, we might not have a rest of the season. We start with New Jack.
Yeah,
nigga.
man. Let's start with Benoit. Yeah.
we cancel shit.
That's a real good. Yeah.
So one of the I remember I bought a DVD just because it was New Jack and I know the nigga wow. It's a New Jack shoot DVD and off the rip, the nigga come, it's a little geeky white dude ready to interview him. And off the rip, the nigga walk in the room off the introduction and sit down. He look at the dude, and when he get himself settled and you look at him, the nigga got white powder all up under his nose. I'm like, yo, this is wild.
Hey, yo, New Jack might be my daddy.
That's what he said, though.
All our daddies.
That
I
nigga
wish I
got
was
that
so-
long fingernail. Take a bump.
Yeah, the little bump fingernail.
Nigga, take a
That's
bump.
what
Take a
he
bump.
said, though. He said, he said, how you think I could jump off them damn shits? I had to, get a little lit first.
Yeah.
Speed up.
Oh, that's crazy. So when New Jack talk about a bump card,
Oh,
he
I
Both
know.
talking
of them
about some other
That's
shit.
Both
before
of
the
them
match.
still.
Yeah.
Fact.
That nigga ain't got
That
no
nigga heart
nostril
sound
left.
like a
Like,
go-go,
Shout out
baby.
my daddy.
quarters of a right nostril.
Big facts. So the
Calling
Jericho,
my dad New Jack tomorrow.
oh, that's wild, but okay, so this
That's great.
I can't wait to cover that shit next week.
Hey, I can't wait to say everybody should call their dad New Jack tomorrow.
I'm about to call
Y'all
a
know
nigga
it?
right now.
Y'all know the nigga?
Hey,
Hey, get the nigga
Oh,
on the
God.
spit. Get the nigga on the spit.
Fact.
That's big facts. I fucks with it. All right, so this motherfucking Chris Benoit episode, Jericho basically was like the main narrator of the shit.
Yeah.
I thought that the whole shit, you feel me, both parts was produced really well. I thought both of them was dope. You feel me? Just overall, you feel me, the way that they put the shit together, regardless of the circumstances. You feel me? Like they did a good job with putting the whole thing together and shedding light on the situation and actually bringing some new facts to light that we didn't know previously. You feel me, and shit like that, and putting some of the rumors and shit to rest. So let me ask y'all, how did y'all feel about the episode overall?
I thought it was amazing. Very dark. I mean, it's called Dark Side of the Ring. I thought it was entertaining or whatever. But it definitely, you couldn't go to sleep off that. Like you had to watch something else to kind of cleanse your palate. Pause. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just to
for
get
real.
yourself together, because nigga, it was heavy.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was crazy.
I think because there's been talk about a lot of different. I feel like there was talk about a Benoit movie at some point. I think there's been talk about other documentaries. They did a good job of mixing the obvious like scandalous nature of the situation as well as just giving you the whole picture, because they could have just said, yo, this motherfucker was wild, but you have to take it back and be like,
Right.
wrestling's all he knew, him and Eddie Guerrero. Like, you have to tell that part of the story to understand how it goes from them being on top of the world to this nigga's world just being crushed, and then him just doing the most insane shit ever. It was well done, but I think like everybody's saying, it's just a hard watch. It's a real hard watch.
Sure. Definitely.
Oh, y'all
I
waiting
agree
on
with
me.
that.
Fuck that nigga.
Here you go.
Dang.
Flat out, my nigga.
Talk
Fuck
your
that
shit
nigga.
though. Talk your
I mean,
shit.
you already know. We argued over this shit yesterday. Like the first half, I didn't catch the first half on YouTube, so this was the first time I saw both episodes like some other people. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm watching it and I'm saying, "Oh, he's a great dad. He's a great husband." Nah, nigga.
Yeah, fuck all that. All that shit out the window.
Fact. You see what I'm saying?
All that shit out the window. That shit gone.
Right. Like I understand you gotta soften you gotta soften the blow, and then you know what I mean. You gotta make it easy. You gotta ease into the blow and shit. But
So I don't think.
I'm not with it.
But see, I don't think, and this is what our argument was yesterday. I don't think they were trying to soften the blow. I think they were just trying to tell the whole story. Like from what I seen, nigga, he was cool. He was, you know what I mean?
Nah.
He was at the games and this and that.
Nah,
Yeah.
no nigga with a snaggle too. I ain't fucking with you, bro.
But I mean, you got that. That's people giving. I mean, that's their honest opinion, though. I mean, just like for me, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, Benoit was one of my favorite wrestlers. When I first saw him in ECW, going to WCW and all that, he was that guy. He was a workhorse. So I don't. Granted, he was a fucking killer. He killed like the closest people to him, but I think for a lot of people, you got to remember that it's both sides. It is the fact that, and I think that's what makes it harder. It's like people knew him as, a good person to Nancy and to his family before, he fucking snapped or whatever and murked him, That.
But hold on, Cal. But was he? You know what I mean? Was he a good person to Nancy, my nigga? Because they talked about how the nigga was putting right. You see what I'm saying? So
putting hands and feet on her,
man, for real.
Yeah, but I guess
hands and feet on her.
It seemed like that was later. I don't think that wasn't 96, 97 whenever they got together. That would have been
that was post-month.
This happened over time of, you feel me, of shit just continuous just on the road beating itself up and steroid use and a bunch of other shit, you feel me, that was going on that kind of added up to it. Yeah.
And I think that's the major problem with this whole deal, is that it's immediately easy to write a nigga off as he's a piece of trash because he killed his family, right? But
that's what you're supposed to do.
But then how do you tell the CTE part of the story? Because if the CTE is what they say it is, and it is as attitude changing as it is, you have to give that some sort of credence. There is science behind it. It ain't just like niggas that was his friends is like, well, he wasn't like that at first. The facts are telling you, nah, the nigga was changed because he used to fly headbutt.
Wait a goddamn second, nigga. I don't hear nobody feeling for Hernandez gay ass.
Nah, no.
My bad. I know y'all getting my bad.
And he got multiple bodies too.
Yeah,
wait a minute. That's a double entendre.
It wasn't as close.
That's a double entendre.
It wasn't as close.
Straight up. But I think but again, it's one of them situations where I don't think you can just say, because he wasn't just a crazy dude off the rip. That's why you have to talk about the flying headbutt. That's why you have to talk about the chair shots. And the most poignant things that Jericho was saying in the doc for me, the illest thing was like, this man, he didn't know nothing but wrestling. He didn't have no other jobs. His job was...
He never had,
exactly. Yeah, he wanted to be a wrestler, and he not only just did it, he did it to the highest standard. He's in Mexico, he's in Japan, he's touring all over. If his finisher's the flying headbutt and he's taking chair shots in the 90s, like that adds up over time. It does, and I think the key is same with Aaron Hernandez. The CTE doesn't excuse what happened. You can't say, oh well, it was a CTE, so he's exonerated. It's part of the reason. I think the problem is there's only so much science. Like, they're still trying to study brains, and I think they're still trying to understand, and hopefully they can use that science to change what's going on in football. Wrestling is, tried to do the best it can to stop with the chair shots and a lot of the stuff that was going on, 20 years ago, 25 years ago when Benoit was in it. But it's still it's an evolving thing. So it's a complicated issue that I don't think you can just say. I mean, you can just say he's a fucking stone cold killer, but there's reasons behind it, and that's why people are having this dialogue about it.
I agree with that.
Hey, man, we're gonna. I know we talking about this shit and it was all serious and shit, but you talking about this nigga career, man. Hey, man, look, this nigga was just the other nigga in the Horsemen. He was the other nigga in the Radicals, and then they gave that nigga a title shot, and then boom.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Say that,
bro, he was the other nigga in the Horsemen.
Whenever you say the other
nigga in the Radicals,
he was also the best wrestler in all them groups.
Don't do that. Don't you, God damn it, don't you do that.
Hey, he was in a group with a nigga that got 1,001 holes, nigga.
Yo,
Like,
not for nothing, and I don't want to sidebar too far, but is Malenko developing like maybe like mild case of Parkinson's or something like that? Like
he's
he was shaking the whole shit. He was shaking like motherfucker the whole shit. He got it, and I'm like, that nigga the whole time he's talking, he's just like yeah, I just don't think that he should be in the Hall of Fame, and we wouldn't give credit to his accomplishments and all of that. Like this, like my nigga, you is Michael J. Foxing the fuck out of this shit right now, bro. Like I'm worried about this.
Hey, man, man of 1,000.
Oh, this is every week.
Hey, man of 1,002 holes, nigga.
God damn it! God damn it!
I'm with all this.
Hold on, my cousin said some wrong shit. I'm just here to correct him.
There you go.
Because he sat there and said one of the best. He said the best wrestler in the group. Now, my nigga, you're not the best anything when Eddie Guerrero was present, my nigga. That's factual.
I like so matches better than Eddie matches.
Hey, somebody
so
kick him
since
out
we
the,
bring
kick him
up
out the show.
since we go on with the Eddie Guerrero, I was talking to me and Tron were having a conversation a few days ago, and Tron, you said before the first episode aired that you felt like they were gonna spin this to the Eddie Guerrero, the whole thing with him spiraling out of control after Eddie Guerrero passed and all of that. Like, what did you like? Can you speak to that? Like, why did you feel like they were spinning it? Did you feel like they were trying to soften the information and the shit so it's easier to digest for people?
I think they just needed something else other than the CTE to, basically be like, and Chris was just going through something. I mean, the whole time they were talking about the incident, they were talking about Eddie, and they dove right into, okay, Eddie dies, boom. For a minute, if you didn't know what you was watching, like if you just randomly turned the TV on, you'd have thought that it was an Eddie Guerrero documentary.
Facts.
Because they went straight into his death, and then they transformed it into how Chris was depressed and how Chris was upset, and they had to get him a journal for him to write to Eddie.
But are you saying that to say you don't think that was the catalyst?
I definitely do. I definitely do think that it played a major part. I think I forget who said it last night. I don't know if it was Jericho or Chavo or somebody, but they said that when Eddie died, that was it for Chris. Chris was like, I'm out. Yeah. Like I can't go on anymore without Eddie. But
that's kind of weird. So people had the theory that, you feel me, since they were talking about this nigga Benoit. I'm doing it. We taking it.
You already know you're gonna say
it was. I thought of it, and then I let it go. But then I saw it on my timeline, so now I gotta bring it up. He lands in the bed. He laying in the bed in Eddie Guerrero and Vicky Guerrero's bed on Eddie's side, clutching his pillow, crying. And all
what's grosser? What's grosser though? Like them niggas being buddies, or like them niggas running the train on Vicky?
Jesus Christ.
When he made the Michael J. Fox joke,
niggas really the public enemies.
It's the 100th episode. This the last episode. It's a wrap.
He had a good run.
Rip up the script.
He was holding the pillow. He wasn't biting it, my nigga.
I mean, I will say,
I want to do that to Eddie.
Regardless of what their relationship was, they had, because you remember they showed the Eddie Guerrero tribute footage. That nigga was balling. He looked regardless of what if they was squad or if they was a little more, he was hurt. That nigga them tears was real.
That's a fact.
For sure. For sure, them tears was real. And the whole speaking of the footage that they aired with the tribute episode, Regal, that little piece of it where he was like, the only thing I'm willing to say right now is war games.
Yeah, war games.
You feel me? But he was saying like the only thing that I'm willing to say right now is, you feel me, he was good to his family or whatever. You feel me? Like he wouldn't speak too much about it. You feel me? He was just like, but they were saying that he knew some shit was going on.
Got that camera got on Steven Regal face. That nigga was like,
well,
well,
but I mean,
he was a great wrestler. He was a great wrestler.
But he wouldn't know.
Ever seen in my life, however.
I mean, but most of those, like, Regal was in WCW when Benoit was over there. So if anybody would have known, he would have known that, hey.
And that nigga lived in the county they was at when he, you know what I mean? Them niggas lived in the same spot.
I will say this.
He lived in the same.
It was only 2 hours, so you couldn't get into anything, but I do kind of wish they got more into that. I mean, it was kind of like Jericho was like, yeah, Regal knew what really was going on, but they didn't really go into, because I read, it was the one dude that was on there said he wrote the book Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
I remember
Matt Randazzo.
I read that shit.
Yeah,
I read that years ago, and he detailed how it was like, the cops was getting called out there, and there was a lot of stuff that was documented with in between Chris and Nancy's relationship. I kind of wish they had delved into that a little bit more, because that would have, if anything, given more information or given more support to the fact that this wasn't so. It wasn't so.
He was a piece of shit.
Can I be honest though? I kind of don't like Jericho.
Sound to me. Hey,
I just don't like
garbage,
Jericho putting Steven Regal out there like that. Like, yo, because niggas is going to his door now. Like, I know that nigga, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is requesting to speak to him now, because now it's like, well, did you know something, nigga? Yeah, it's almost like putting that nigga in the mix unnecessarily.
But
notice, nigga, I didn't know nothing about nothing, but I already know about these war games right now, blood.
Yeah,
that's all I know,
nigga.
Like I know war games. Nigga, that's it.
I told you he was a good
wrestler. Ask about. That's it.
It was Jericho AEW, Jim Ross AEW, D Malenko AEW. I don't know where Chavo is, and Vicky ain't doing nothing. Like, it wasn't they didn't have no WWE people there. They're not gonna let them talk.
Vicky ain't even allowed over there no more.
Yeah, they just had like some footage from some WWE shit, and then, but even like with the AEW shit, like they didn't even recognize that them niggas was with AEW. It was like former WWE executive,
former professional wrestling announcer.
Like, yo, I'm one of the like
nigga, you know who I am, nigga. I'm JR, nigga, good old
AEW all in the
JR mentioned it though, right? JR mentioned it though, right?
Conway, nigga.
Yeah.
I mean, it was mentioned, I'm one of the senior officials at AEW, but as soon as he said that, it was like WWE executive, former on the screen and shit. So they disregarded all of that shit, nigga.
Fact.
Vice was like, nigga, yeah, you niggas is popping, but y'all ain't really there yet. We'll put you in the small thank yous at the end of the credits.
Yeah, look, they fuck with the mouse, we fuck with the mouse. You know what I'm saying? You know how it goes. You know what I'm saying? You know the mouse runs this, okay? The mouse runs Vice. No matter what you think about it, okay? So check this out. You're a former WWE employee, motherfucker.
They said this nigga had 10 times the amount of testosterone as a normal human being at the time of his death. You feel me? Just checking into the toxology reports and shit like that. You feel me? Like, oh man, that shit's fucking nuts. So I wonder if Chris Nowinski needs more credit.
Who?
Yo, here's my question.
Nobody talks about that nigga neither. But that was the same thing with him.
He heavy in the book.
Yo, here's my question.
Hey,
when dude was on there talking about the report of, you know, oh, he had this much testosterone, and you know, WWE tested him, and there was holes in their test, and blah 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 blah. What I want to know is, where's the paperwork on that? Let us see something on that, because they showed the text messages between Benoit and Nancy. They showed, you know, the knife under the little boy bed. They're showing all these different things that made him look like a maniac. and then they're showing the footage of old Vince, and we all know the Vince and the steroids and how that shit go down there.
Right.
But let's see the proof. Like, it seemed like it went from, oh my God, Chris, was this great guy, and then Chris, the murderer, and then, well, let's now make a couple excuses for Chris. Well, he's not actually crazy. He was just going through a lot because of Eddie, and his head was just fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Had taking a needle in his butt.
But I wonder though, because, but that's why I mentioned
Randy Orton test, nigga.
Facts.
Wait a minute.
But that's why I mentioned they couldn't get William Regal. They probably that shit under lock and key. If it's still on this earth, it's under lock and key somewhere in Connecticut. You can't get to that shit.
It's laying right next to that Owen Hart tape.
Facts.
Nigga, all that shit.
I wasn't even making a joke. Like Chris Benoit's medical file right next to that Owen Hart tape talking about do not delete, do not use.
What else is in that vault though? What else is that bad that it's in that vault though? It's got to be
that hand that made young
Jimmy Snooker. Any information they got on Snooker is in that vault?
Yeah.
Pat Patterson,
the
Pat Patterson, Penn State jersey.
They almost threw China in China.
Foot hanging out. Like, no, I got
the Moolahs, all Moolah shit, nigga.
All Moolah shit?
Yeah.
All Moolah shit, nigga. Nigga, they changed the whole motherfucking Battle Royal, nigga, in the 3 days notice. It was like, oh, what?
Hey, Snickers was like, check this out. We not rolling with that shit.
No
you gonna call that shit something else, nigga, or you gonna have to call motherfucking nigga Almond Joy, nigga, or some shit, nigga, try to fucking sponsor your fucking event, nigga. We out.
Sonny Kiss me in there.
You stupid.
Hey,
Stupid as shit, yo.
Nigga. Hey, WrestleMania sponsored by Tahitian Treat, nigga. Ooh, gets Tahitian Treat fucking sponsor, nigga. Sponsored by Gushers.
They might be sponsored by Tahitian Treat this year. This shit gonna look bootleg as fuck. We ain't talking about it, but goddamn.
It's gonna be brought to you out by Luster Silk, yo.
Shout out to Luster, my nigga.
Oil,
Big
moisture.
Luster,
Pink
yeah.
oil, nigga.
It's right.
And Cairo syrup, yeah, big facts.
So they said that that Benoit gave his son Xanax before he killed him.
Yeah.
That's some wild shit.
What to put him to sleep? He ain't want him. He was trying to put him to
No,
sleep.
that's sucker shit. You could have just gave him the Xanax.
You
You
feel
know what I'm
me?
saying?
Make him OD.
No, he just
No,
woke up.
it would have knocked him out.
Yeah.
See,
If the show would have knocked him out, you feel me? As young as he was, you feel me? His body wouldn't have been able to take that.
In the book, right? They were saying that he had the kid in the book, the Ring of Hell.
Right.
He was giving him, he was some active, some kind of disease.
Something X. I forget what it's
and
called.
he was giving the little nigga steroids already.
But I don't. It's hard to tell if I know that's been a thing that's been said. I don't know if it's been proven. So I feel like some people said it might not have been. I mean, but even still, I mean, if you look at the boy, he was 7. He did look small. I don't want to, try and judge what was going on with that kid physically, but he did look small, at least in some of the footage that was on the documentary. But, it's hard to say. If he was doing that, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a disability too?
It was
that I don't know.
It was something. And I don't want to speak to it because I don't know exactly what it was, but I'm not gonna put that on the little kid because he ain't had nothing to do with this shit.
Yeah.
Like he should still be here today. Yeah, he should still be here today.
But that's Nancy should still be here too. I mean, that's the thing that trips me out. It's like
Fragile X.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I got one of them too. I got one of them too. You know what I mean? I got state support every month, nigga. You know what I mean? This shit trash. Trash, my nigga.
The one thing that kills me is that we don't.
$1,000, Cal.
Stupid as shit. It's been 13 years. We don't know what kicked this off. Like is it because it makes me wonder. Like he been beaten on it, or they had all the altercations, whatever. Did he?
No.
Yeah, like was it a situation where he went too far, realized that Shorty died, and was like, you know what, I can't do this. Like, that's already on my conscience. I
So
can't
you
raise
kill your
a kid.
son?
I'm saying, I mean, and they said he was drinking the whole time. If he had all
Fuck
that,
yourself, nigga.
well, that's why I like what Vicky said. Vicky said if you're really feeling some type of way, kill yourself. Don't involve your wife and your child in the shit. I want if he just went too far and was like, either I can't live with it, or I can't live and raise my son knowing that his whole life would change at that point. You know what I'm saying? And that he was 7 years old, and if he had some type of situation, the people that had been around him all the time, he fucked his whole world up completely. Again, not a justification. I'm just trying to understand what the fuck actually happened, and we never will.
They said it was mad brutal how he killed Shorty too. Like they said, like
wrapped
he
her
like
up with the phone cord and choked her out and all types of shit.
Broke her
then like
back
had
and
his
shit.
knee in his back, he knee in her back and like pulled her all the way back. That's ill.
They said he
Like,
broke her back. He broke her back.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
But
That's
they did kill that theory with that he put the crossface on the little boy and you feel me, killed him with that. They was like, nah, that's not what happened. You feel me? Like, and I know that was like the thing for a little bit. You feel me?
I thought the thing was that Kevin Sullivan did it.
Oh, that shit was.
I was like, word.
Well, all right.
Word.
I thought they was going there at first.
He had the whole Dungeon of Doom with him, didn't he?
You stupid as shit.
Hey, nigga.
But no,
because Big Show. Hey, Stefan was there, nigga.
Stefan Urkel,
yeah, nigga. Motherfucking Stunning Steve Austin was there, nigga.
Yeah,
all the
Bruce
niggas
Barber,
was there. The
Beefcake,
Yeti, nigga. Hey, Yeti was there, nigga. Shout out to
when
Yeti.
You riding with the Yeti, my nigga. You deserve to get your bitch taken.
Got the Yeti ride shotgun, nigga.
Hey, yo, Yeti.
That's funny.
Go get my bitch back.
But
you gotta depend on the Yeti to get your bitch back.
That nigga.
Do you guys remember? Like, I don't want to compare it to like old niggas be like, I remember where JFK was when he got killed. But there's a lot of people. That was the thing that people were saying on the timeline was like, I will never forget, where I was when I heard that when this shit happened. Because I remember,
I forgot.
I remember that Sunday night, because that Sunday night was the ECW pay-per-view, and he was supposed to get the belt, and I think it was John Morrison ended up winning the belt or whatever that night. I remember hearing the news, and I feel
Morrison big trash. Sorry.
Wow.
Damn, nigga.
Wow.
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Wow.
Nah, that nigga super trash.
Trash?
Yeah.
I think trash sound like
Starship ass, nigga. Starship ass.
That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy.
He mid. He mid.
I rock with mid.
It's a fire mid.
Hey, but if you take the flips away, he's Riddick Moss. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro. I wouldn't say that much.
That's a damn shame.
I wouldn't say
I thought we was going there. I was riding with you, dog.
Nah,
I wouldn't say that.
I fucks with you, Kyle.
That nigga said fire mid.
You with me? You know what I'm saying? Like,
there was all that talk because people were saying that like when word came out that Chris Benoit died and the shit with the family, there was this whole discussion about people like changing the Wikipedia page and people was adding in like Kevin Sullivan, da. Like that was a whole thing. Like he had to go to the cops and be like, yo, this is where I was at. I don't even fuck with them niggas like that no more. But for a while, that was a theory was Kevin Sullivan did that shit. It's great.
Yeah, nigga had to tell him he took his bitch.
I got the tape in the back if you want to see it. Shit.
Nigga, like I was over here, nigga. He's like, why am I wait till now to fucking do it, nigga? He been did this. Nigga did this 10 years ago, nigga. Like,
right. Like that nigga was supposed to wait till things. He wasn't supposed to wait till things fell off. He was supposed to get them while things was going good.
You're supposed to get them both.
This how you gonna get her back?
You ain't gonna beat her like I was beating that nigga. Like, nah,
that's crazy.
My question would have been, how the hell did he even know where they stayed in the first place?
That's a fact.
Huh?
This nigga checked up.
That nigga on the road.
the foulest thing.
That nigga was on the road.
That nigga on the road, Kelvin Sullivan pulling up. Knock that shit.
This nigga hard.
Hey, with the lightning paint on his head, shit too, nigga. Hey, coming with the lightning paint on his head, nigga. Like, yup, you know you missed this.
You know what
and his cousin and shit. What was his cousin name? Was his brother, the big homie.
Oh shit!
He done brought the big homie with him.
Norman?
Tag team in your bitch.
Talking about Norman the Lunatic?
It was Norman. No, it wasn't Norman, was it?
Norman the Lunatic was his man with the
That
big
was
rabbit.
his homie?
Hey,
Yo, if a lunatic.
hey, it was him and Hugh. It was him
Dave
and Hugh Morris,
Sullivan.
nigga. Remember him and Hugh Morris?
It was Dave Sullivan.
Dave Sullivan.
I got
Right
it.
in your bitch.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me look at this.
You know who I felt
The
worst
Sullivans,
for,
nigga.
yo? You know who I felt the worst for watching this whole thing?
Who?
Is Chavo.
Yeah.
Right? Eddie
Yeah.
died in the nigga arms, yo. I don't know if I knew that much of the story. I thought that they was like, oh, that nigga dead. He went in there and he was like, dang, he is dead. Nah, the nigga said he was still with him and then he won't. Like, I thought that was wild. But if you watch, they had a little thing afterwards. After Dark Side of the Ring, late night, some wild.
Nah, the little nigga creeped me out. No, white people scare me.
They should. This is America.
They scary, nigga.
But nah, the niggas say
Look at the biggest terrorists in the world.
These niggas, and speaking of wild white people, they say niggas be really tweeting this nigga still talking about the dogs is locked up in the back. Like still the same tweet from the text message that he. Yeah, yo.
Damn.
Like I thought that was the nigga. The nigga man's killed his family. His uncle died in his arms, and y'all still want to mess with the nigga? Come on, yo.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. I feel you on that. That's super fucked up. They gotta Chavo. He done seen a lot. Like, getting them text messages had to be crazy. Like, what the fuck is going on? You feel me? Like, hold on, like, nigga, you got the text too? You feel me? And it's the same text. Like, what the fuck? You feel me?
And the nigga got mad at him. He was like, yo, dude got mad at me. He was like, yo, how come you didn't tell me this earlier? Like, nigga, how come you got the same shit, nigga? How come you didn't do it, nigga?
The one thing, no, that nigga said he was trying to hold Chris down. That's what he said he was trying to do. He said he was trying to hold
I'm trying to cover for him.
Right.
Like, I don't know what's going on, but I don't want my nigga to get in trouble, you feel me, or no shit like that. So, like, whatever's going on, I'm not going to say nothing, you feel me? I'm going to handle that between him before I say anything, you feel me, to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, so
I know how
I feel Chavo in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, bro, I got the same message as he did, nigga. Hey, look, nigga, we got the message at the same time. I was over here.
Now, David Benoit, the oldest son.
David?
He's David. You feel me? That nigga, he's the one that said like a couple months ago that he wants to get into wrestling or whatever, and he would like to wrestle as Chris Benoit Jr.
Crazy.
You think that's a smart idea? That's
No.
wild, right?
No.
Fucking nuts.
Well, it's
what is your character?
Yo, the Canadian killer.
He wants to be the crippler, nigga.
Junior, nigga.
This nigga said that he got the same gear and all this shit. You
he
feel
looks
me?
like
Like,
he was
he
the
wants
other
to
thing,
use-
though. Like
Hey,
he looks
Chris
like
Benoit Jr.
I mean,
that's what's.
I can understand, I'm the son of Chris Benoit. I want to be I totally get it. There's certain ways to go about that.
This ain't one of them.
He's the one that got on the show and was like, look, aside from Jericho and Chavo, wasn't no one else fucking with us. There's a reason why, my guy. It's because of, what your dad is said to have done. Why would you want to then be Chris Benoit Jr.?
Nah, your pops out there chopping the fuck out of me. He chopping me and shit. My chest all fucked up. His head butting me. Nah, I ain't with it.
Now this nigga, when they brought that up of nobody reached out, you feel me, from the WWE, there was a lot of I saw a lot of shit again on the timeline of shame on WWE for not reaching out to David Benoit and making sure he was straight. I'm like, first of all, the nigga was like 14, 15 at the time. You gonna reach out to a minor? You feel me? Like I don't know if that's I don't know if that's something that is smart for them to do, especially in a situation like this. You feel me?
And nigga, we did a whole fucking tribute show, nigga. We gave this nigga a whole tribute show before we jumped the gun before we even knew anything, just because it was him, nigga. Yeah, we jumped the gun just because, like, usually WWE never does that shit, nigga. We have been worth billions in 2007.
That was the end of all of that shit. We giving niggas the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, we waiting, nigga. That shit over. Hey, nigga, WWE is looking into the matters further, but we've peace be with the families. That's all you see, nigga.
That's it.
Until you see everything now.
So because of that, he was like, they didn't reach out, screw them and shit like that. But I'm like, I don't really know if I fuck with him saying screw them because they didn't reach out, because nigga, for the last couple of years, you've been pulling up to Raws and SummerSlams and all types of shit. You feel me? So now that they doing a documentary, now you saying screw them, like they wasn't there for you and all that shit. Like, wait a second though, like you was just at SummerSlam last year. You feel me? So I'm like, I don't understand why you would go that route because of the documentary now. And niggas that you said did reach out, Chris Jericho and Benoit. Chris Jericho and Malenko, excuse me, my bad. Jericho and Malenko is now with AEW, and now they show all the happy AEW footage, like this is the family and all of that shit. Like
backstage
they got
and shit.
Yeah. Now that I fuck with that. I fuck with that. Chris Jericho saying, okay, I'm gonna get these two together, or at least try to get them to talk, because they deserve to have closure. You feel me?
Word.
That sidebar. Cool. Sidebar right now, and as we record this, Rikishi is live on DJing on the live, yo.
Oh, like Rikishi's a DJ? What the fuck?
What is this nigga playing?
DJ Stinkface in the building.
Yo.
Well, I think the one thing that I do hate is because, again, growing up as a kid that watched a lot of NWA and WCW, I remember Nancy when she was with Woman. She was the manager for Doom, all that shit. She was with Ric Flair and all that. And I feel bad that because of what was done to her, you don't really hear about what she did in the world of pro wrestling. That sucks. Even matter of fact, fuck all that shit. She was the main man. She was managing Sandman. She was managing Too Cold when they was running shit down at ECW. You don't hear about that shit no more because, she died with that Benoit name, but from the nigga Benoit. That's the part that I hate. I don't know. And that David Benoit motherfucker looks small anyway. I don't know who is he wrestling? Marco Stunt? Like, what are we talking about?
I hate that.
What are we talking
about?
Hey,
exactly.
You hate Marco Stunt?
Yes.
Hey, Marco Stunt's super little, nigga. Hey, that shit look like abuse when he be in there sometimes.
Hey, that's the
biggest, they be fucking him up.
I understand if we in a post kayfabe situation, but come on, this little nigga?
Yeah.
Nah.
We don't do that. Oh, I'm sorry, my guy.
This nigga about to floss. This nigga about to floss in the ring. I'm about to kick him in his face. Yeah, he better do a flip after I kick him, nigga. This nigga about to floss in front of me.
Ring is crazy.
That's just as bad. That's just as bad as Riho giving Nyla Rose a German suplex.
Oh shit.
That's Riho Reigns, my nigga. She can do a German suplex.
They definitely ready to get canceled tonight. So check this out.
Let's go from a nigga perspective, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes.
So is the AEW women's title an intergender title?
Don't do this. Don't do that.
What do you want me to
Don't do that.
I just asked. The nigga said go ahead and do it. The nigga said do it.
We ain't getting ads on our podcast. Why you do it to them?
The nigga said from a nigga perspective.
Don't do that.
I wasn't even mad at the question. I just mad the nigga ain't let me ask it first.
Stupid. Fucking stupid.
I'm sorry.
Hey, blood. You see how her man voice come out sometimes? Like it come out like occasionally, like Super Saiyan when she be trying to give her fucking speeches and shit. And she be like, listen. I was like, yeah.
Run, Swole, run.
Oh, my wife did the same thing.
Okay.
Porter dude at the Revolution was like, so AEW's women's division, you guys have a culture, da 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 da. She was like, how do you know we don't? I should fuck you up right now, nigga. Like, why you even asking me a question? Like that nigga was finna get his ass beat.
Hey, you about to get his ass dogged out, nigga.
Make sure this on the Patreon and not on the real show. This shit on the Patreon, my nigga.
$5 a piece, my nigga. Shit.
Hey, you want to see me beat this dude up? I got the small belt on. Gotta wear it around my neck.
She for sure.
Hey, she need a new belt, though.
That belt is
talk to
fucking
Cody.
fine.
Hey,
They
Cody.
should have done that. They should have done that.
Hey, who's running that? Kenny? Hey, Kenny, give me a fucking belt, nigga.
Kenny and they said Kenny and Awesome Kong.
Yeah, they say Awesome Kong will be next, and then they're gonna call a pay-per-view Awesome Kong versus Awesome Dong. I'm sorry.
What? No.
I'm sorry.
See, he started.
I'm not.
He started.
Hey, that's hilarious.
Had a good run. Pack it up, my G. Pack it up.
Hey, we're gonna make it worth it. That's what I'm talking about. I love that. That's the energy I like.
Now y'all can come on the show. Y'all can be on our show. Fuck it.
Yeah. When they cancel y'all show, y'all can come over. That's what
I'm gonna rename my shit.
We're gonna be hitting y'all by Saturday night.
They be on monthly correspondence, like, yeah, what's up, y'all? We had a podcast, but
podcast.
So let's go to the Bay. Let's go to the Bay.
Our correspondence from the Bay.
Jeez. We ain't here, y'all. We had a podcast before, but shit happens.
Shit over
Fuck them niggas, but whatever.
Yeah. As soon as the nigga said Awesome Kong versus Awesome Dong, you feel me? It was like the feed cut. We ain't know what to do.
You should have cut that mic. You should have cut that mic. Shit.
A mic on?
The audio. Where'd that nigga go? I don't know.
We're gonna be playing it back. They're gonna be like, Tron, why you cut that part out?
Don't ask. Don't ask.
Oh, shit.
No, I think that'd be the conversation. I think two podcasts run into each other at like an event, and niggas be like, yo, you had them Black Rasslin niggas on, and the other niggas be like,
like, man.
Yeah,
we
yo.
see why these niggas ain't got no sponsors.
Facts. Man, it's you, nigga. It's you.
It ain't
Nigga, it's you.
I came on there.
Man, trying to rewrite history. It's you early.
I say crazy shit every week.
Overall, man, I thought it was a good episode. It shed light on the situation. I guess it gave closure, you feel me, to Nancy's sister and to David Benoit, some of the people that were involved. So kudos for that, you feel me. I'm excited to see the rest of the season because it looked like if they starting with this, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, next week is New Jack, nigga.
Right.
Y'all thought it was over?
Ain't no season.
Nigga, I want to see the Dino Bravo one. The Dino Bravo one, I think is gonna be crazy.
Dino Bravo's gonna be nuts.
I think niggas' face gonna be like eyes gonna be like, what happened?
Facts.
Because that's gonna be the one. Watch.
That was one of the first stories because they always said that nigga got executed gangland style. They say he was in his living room, just shot the fuck up.
You ever been to the 410?
No.
Normal shit, nigga.
No. Why would I do that? I watched The Wire. I don't do that.
So shout out to us. Shout out to Gangland Murder, nigga.
But they've also got an Owen Hart episode this season, which is going to be interesting.
They really finna get big bag.
Now I remember where I was when Owen Hart died, nigga.
Yeah, me too.
I know exactly where I was trying to unscramble the TV. Shit,
Facts.
Looking
Facts.
like
that nigga say, you know, I think I'm on the right channel.
Hey, yo. Yeah, my grandma had the hot box, nigga. And I watched that shit and I was like, yo, grandma, I think somebody just died on here.
Damn.
She like, nigga, shut the fuck up and turn that bitch. Turn on the news.
You know what? You know what would be a good episode of Dark Side of the Ring? Is the night that
black people.
The night you stupid. The night that King had that heart attack.
Okay.
That was a wild, like I also remember sitting there watching it. And I might have called this nigga like, yo, this real?
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah,
That was nuts.
They said bro died for a couple of minutes, right? Like
He was fucked
they had to
up. He was fucked
resuscitate
up.
him and all that shit.
Yeah, like Michael Cole had to be at ringside after a nigga told him, nah, this don't look good.
But the craziest part, the craziest shit about that is the fact that happened, and then you remember when he came back and they did him faking having a heart attack again.
The nigga kicked him in the
show.
heart.
Yeah.
Ziggler
He got super kicked. And, like, what the fuck?
Vince was on the phone like, is he alive?
Hey, get him back out here.
Get this nigga back out there. Put a bucket of KFC chicken in front of this nigga.
They said no.
Scoop this nigga up. You know what I'm saying?
They said get him a 16-year-old girl. See if that nigga.
Hey, that's what we need to talk about, man. Yeah. That's what we need to talk about. If we're gonna do a king thing, nigga, because I said it, nigga. He like his bitches too young, nigga.
They are
like them young, nigga.
All of them. Young.
That's his thing.
He called her early, nigga, like 19, nigga. He
That's
called
where
too young, like 19.
I never trust a nigga tell me he don't drink because he never drank. If a nigga don't drink, it's because he used to get too drunk and he did something stupid. I trust that nigga. The nigga say, oh, nah, I don't ever drink.
Don't make
something. You do something.
Don't make, yeah.
They do.
R. Kelly nigga. Shit.
Tron say he don't never drink. Look at him. Look at that nigga face.
God.
See?
Yeah.
That nigga
kill somebody.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Smoke reefer? Do you smoke reefer?
Y'all see me the whole time. You know I'm with the bag.
I done seen this nigga Tron drag niggas. That nigga was beating niggas' ass, bro.
And rock bottoming niggas, bud.
Bro, when
I seen this nigga throwing weights at niggas at high school.
That nigga was a wild boy.
Shout out to Tron. Shout out to
Tron.
So he so he ain't right already.
Really get canceled
now.
now.
Not add no liquor to the situation. No, you know
Tron.
what?
No,
I can accept that explanation. If he know he ain't all right already and he can't add the liquor to the situation, that makes sense. I know those.
The niggas that's missing the chromosome and shit. We know y'all. We know all y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? My son pulled a whole urinal off the wall. I know niggas.
Niggas like Kratos, nigga.
Nigga CTE.
Yeah, he's God of War ass nigga, blood. Just like he don't know why he's so strong. He just be like, man, I'm just strong, nigga.
Bro, this nigga Tron used to walk around with the G-Unit white beaters, bro. I'm like, I'm not fucking with this.
I don't know, man.
I'm not fucking with this nigga, bro. This nigga used to be a wild.
Hey,
do me a favor. Played all the sports.
Do me a favor. Block that nigga box out. I'm scared of him.
Hey,
anybody with the G-Unit white beaters, them bitches certified.
Boop, boop, boop. I'm like, where they go?
Hey, yo, did niggas really, like, if niggas was wearing the G-Unit white beater, was they really playing the colors of the bars on the strap with their sneakers?
No, with the do-rag. With the do-rag.
Hey, not with this nigga Tron had the G-Unit white beater with the G-Unit kicks, nigga, with the headband, nigga. This nigga was mini 50, bro. I was like, oh, nigga, hey, I'm finna be this nigga's friend. I'm finna be this nigga's friend, bro. Cause I done seen him knock niggas out, and I done seen him.
Do me a favor, edit all my parts out of this motherfucker. I'm scared right now, nigga.
Nah, the nigga with the whole the nigga with the whole G-Unit outfit is 2 times as crazy as the nigga with the black Air Force Ones. 2 times as crazy.
Oh,
that's a fact. That's his daddy.
If the nigga had the leave that nigga alone.
That's his new jack.
Yeah, nigga, you gotta fight him. Like you gotta fight him before he's Goro. Like you gotta fight me to get to him.
So you don't drink, you get your nose dirty? Nah, you don't get your nose dirty, do you?
My nigga, new jack.
Oh man. Before we get out of here, man, I see this. Oh yeah, Tron. This nigga, Tron. Remember when you said that you was jealous of these niggas' logo?
Which one?
Which one?
I'm like,
All
yeah,
of
which
them,
one?
nigga.
It's yours, nigga.
All of
Hey,
them.
Graham,
nigga.
I hear
He
Graham.
was
I
like,
said,
this nigga's
I said, yo, how these niggas got every damn wrestling logo with their name on it? How these niggas do that?
Listen, you stay on the
y'all
West Coast,
niggas.
nigga. Stay over there, nigga.
Talking about top secret math. These is math.
stay
rules.
over
To
there,
be
nigga.
honest, top secret math. You don't ask this nigga nothing past what happened yesterday.
I say anything I want to you when I'm on the East, nigga. Mind your business, nigga.
I heard Graham like, hey, nigga, they got the flag. They got the fucking WrestleMania flag shit with their name on. How they do that shit?
They got the SummerSlam joint, nigga. They got they do all the shit.
Hit me,
Hey, yo.
hit me on Twitter. I'll plug you in.
Hey yo, real spill. I can only say wait till tomorrow.
Hey. Okay, for sure.
Wait
So
till tomorrow.
we know some shit coming. Coming there.
Motherfuckers.
The first time I heard of y'all niggas, the first time I heard of y'all niggas show, I think was last year when they did the Raw reunion, right? They did and then that's when they had the Rambling Racists on the show.
Yeah.
They had the Rambling Racists on the shit. You feel me? And then I remember I posted. Yeah, we talking about that nigga.
That nigga Terry.
I posted a picture on the Instagram of the Raw reunion shit for show. Big facts. I posted it. That's what made me bring it up. I posted a picture of the Raw reunion, the little promo logo shit that they had with all the niggas that was on the shit, and I put an X over this nigga Terry's face, and then somebody tagged and was like, "Oh, Black Rasslin, they stealing your swag or something." I was like,
niggas, I'm gonna tell you, niggas that listen to our show is wild loyal. Niggas tell a lot of niggas.
Shout out to
like,
Drake.
Yo, you know, they're just at niggas.
Yeah, so when I seen that, I was like, okay, so I gotta say, and then I was like, okay, these niggas is on some nigga shit, pure. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I'm fucking with these niggas.
Oh, you don't know us?
I'm in.
Oh, you don't know us?
Big
This
is amazing.
One more thing before we go, because I would be a sucker if I didn't say this, because I know WrestleMania 37 is gonna be in Los Angeles, and I got a plan. I got a program that I'm running. I got a campaign. It's called Give Graham a Chance.
Yeah.
And I saw a video. Give Graham a chance.
Let me holler at my cousin. Hold on, nigga.
Give Graham a chance. And we can have a conversation off air. But I'm running the campaign right now. It's hashtag Give Graham a Chance. WrestleMania 37. I'm trying to take Caleb Braxton to lunch, to brunch. Or whatever the fuck it is. And that's why I brought it up, Mike G. I saw this cameo and I had a problem with that.
Are we doing it?
Worry about what I've got going on.
I've had multiple conversations with niggas. I didn't know niggas was in their bag like this. You feel me? But check this out. Hey, so with that said, we're gonna do the Caleb Braxton Invitational.
Oh,
you feel
me? Caleb Braxton on the pole match, bro.
Caleb Braxton on the pole.
Caleb Braxton on the pole match, bro.
Wow.
I seen the cameo. I seen the cameo, brother fan. You feel me? So I will say this. Happy belated birthday to you, my G. But check this out. Real. I am here for all the smoke.
Oh, man. Caleb?
Hey.
You know Charlie, that's my cousin, right?
Is available, my nigga.
I respect it.
Charlie Consolation Prizes. Damn, brother, you do what you do.
However,
Big cousin had his way with himself over Caleb Braxton several nights, nigga.
You dumb as shit.
That's sick. That's fucking hilarious.
I just had to bring that up, nigga, because I'm like, okay. I see niggas is fucking with it. Okay,
I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I'm not the only one. I'm not alone on this train. You feel me?
Alone,
that one mean, and I don't know what it was about the cameo or whatever, but it took like the the WWE polish off with, oh nah, she got some Mobb Deep in her car. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she got some Mobb Deep, but she's also listening to some fucking country or something. Like, there's some she's varied. She's wild varied.
Facts.
That she do look like she got beat down listening to Now I Like Music 87.
Right. I'm gonna keep it lit. I don't even know if she like niggas like that, but
she might not.
I'm gonna find out.
You find out real quick. You be like, "What's up, Kayla?" She be like, "No," and then that's
okay,
quick like that. That's what it feels like.
No.
Be like, "What's up, Lisa Bonet?"
You gotta catch
She be like, "Hey, look, you don't look nothing like Aquaman, nigga."
You don't look nothing like Aquaman. Is funny.
Oh my god.
Oh, man. One more time, man. I appreciate y'all for coming on the show, for fucking with us, man. We went a couple minutes over, but we had to get to a couple of points before we let y'all niggas go, man. I wanted to ask about that. Oh shit, they're filming WrestleMania like right now.
Oh, as we speak,
right?
Yeah. They should be done filming it Thursday.
Tomorrow, right? Yeah, Thursday, and then
filming it Thursday.
There's a wrap after that, right?
Yeah. But the interesting thing is they're saying that, like Meltzer was saying, that both Dana Brooke and Rey Mysterio's in quarantine because them niggas is sick.
Quentin Tarantino.
I don't know if it's a situation where the whole locker room about to have the Rona.
Yeah. You gotta keep them niggas away, blood. You gotta shut shit down. It's a wrap. Let niggas go home.
Them niggas gonna have a social time off. Them niggas gonna have a social distancing tag team match. The Usos gonna be looking like Demolition Man.
Hey yo.
That's hilarious.
Shit.
That's shit, man.
Hey, who them niggas fighting? All three of them niggas?
I don't know who they finna fight. They're supposed to fight the Usos. I mean, Usos supposed to fight the New Day.
Usos fight ISIS?
Right. We gotta wrap this bitch. I can't do that.
Terrible.
We don't like Usos, nigga.
I'm just saying, that nigga Mansoor, man.
Hey, Mansoor. Hey, blood.
That nigga got a couple connects.
They bust that nigga Mansoor out, blood.
That nigga done did a couple of APW shows and shit out this way, man. Like, he might know a couple niggas. Some hood slams and shit, man. Like, nah.
I ain't afraid of no fucking Mansoor, nigga.
Sean, said fighting ISIS, and then the nigga gonna say, "Who? Mansoor? I hate you niggas." Immediately.
I might have to have Sean break out the G Unit wife beater, nigga.
Hey yo.
Nigga, I'm the whole talk to a Mansoor, nigga. Hey, Mansoor can see me right now, nigga.
I hear that.
And they bust out Mansoor. They bust that nigga out. Yeah, nigga. They bust that nigga out, nigga, like it's a fucking like, okay, let's bring him out, y'all.
That's crazy.
And that nigga's he's in the contract, nigga.
And it's like Kofi Kingston on Black History Month. Let the nigga win a match. Let him go ahead.
Fuck it, let him have the whole year.
Hey, put my nigga in the game, nigga. Hey, put my nigga in the game. Put my son in the game. Every time you go to Saudi Arabia, put my son in the game right now, nigga. And my son need fireworks too.
Every match.
All the fireworks.
This nigga's gonna have a Goldberg streak, nigga.
And he needed 20-minute promo at the end, nigga. Now.
Yeah, yo. And he not speaking English. That's all Quran talk.
All right, man.
Y'all better cut these niggas' mic. I'm telling you.
Cut the feed, man. Cut the feed. All right. Hey, so with that said, nigga, if y'all got any shout outs or anything y'all want to plug real quick before we let y'all niggas go ahead. You feel me? The floor is yours.
Shit. Black Rasslin. At Black Rasslin on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, blackwrestling.com as always is the website. You can find the Black Rasslin podcast wherever y'all niggas get podcasts at. We try to drop on Fridays, right? I mean, that's usually the situation. But yeah, niggas is lit. As always, thank y'all for having us through. I really appreciate that. It's good to have niggas in this space that you can speak freely with. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's all I got, man.
Talk, nigga. I don't talk, nigga.
Everybody gets a talk, nigga.
Man, run it, man. Run
I'm
it.
willing and I'm dealing like a villain. I be killing. Coke is it for tonight. I got the feeling. Y'all don't know nothing about Aunt
Cut
Bay.
that
Y'all
nigga's
ain't from the Bay,
microphone.
nigga.
God damn
They
it.
ain't from the Bay, nigga.
damn
They
it.
ain't from the Bay, nigga.
Shut your ass up.
From the
Shit.
They don't know nothing about Aunt Banks, nigga.
This nigga done bought a hold on. Then you want to talk about EAC and earthquake too, huh?
Real
If you keep
Aunt
he about to,
Oh,
he about to
really?
drop
Aunt
his
Banks.
single and shit. He about to drop
They
a
don't know
whole
nothing
single.
about no Aunt Banks, nigga.
He got a mic in his back pocket. You better cut that nigga's
Hey,
mic.
hold on,
I'm
dude.
coming west, nigga. I'm coming to the
Hey,
west.
but if I have to spit some Votto lyrics, nigga, do I have to spit some Votto lyrics over here? No, are we reciprocating
Hey,
lyrics
Kyle.
from the?
No.
Nah,
You
nah.
ain't never.
Don't
You
spit
ain't
no
never watched
Votto
me
at
on
me,
the show. You
nigga.
spit Votto lyrics.
So nobody like Votto,
Just
nigga?
stick,
Nigga,
just
I'm
stick
from
with the
Maryland,
King
nigga.
Von for now.
Hey,
I'm from Maryland. It's funny.
I'm from Maryland,
I'm
nigga.
from Maryland, nigga. I don't even know who Votto is, nigga.
Yeah, nigga, no, I don't
Good
even buy
looking.
mixtapes. I don't even buy mixtapes. Hey, before we get out of here, before we get out of
Go
here,
ahead, run that.
if y'all niggas is brave enough to let me speak,
There you go.
IlFam79 at Wes Buffy
Nigga
on your
ass.
social media choice, man. Shout out to y'all niggas. Appreciate you.
Word.
Man,
See ya.
appreciate y'all for real.
Appreciate y'all.
100.
Big
All
facts,
love.
man. We
Shout out to
appreciate
y'all,
y'all.
my nigga.